Greetings, Beavemanites and Docutrons. It's the Beaveman here. I wanted to tell you a little bit about our latest podcast for the Renegade Beaver Studio Network. It's called Beaveman and the Daughter, and you guessed it, it's me, Beaveman, and my daughter. You might be asking yourself, hey Beaveman, why would we want to listen to a podcast about that? Well, maybe you have a young person living at home with you, your child, and you're trying to figure out what their life is like in comparison to yours. Maybe you're trying to bridge a gap. Maybe you're just trying to communicate a little bit. That's exactly why I did it. I want to be able to make sure that I'm communicating with my daughter and understanding her life and trying to get her to relate to me just a little bit and hopefully build our relationship. So, if you're interested, go ahead and give us a listen. And as usual, or not as usual, I guess, because with B-Man in the Doc, I don't really care. But with this content, there's no explicit content. I'm being very good and not swearing, or at least really trying hard not to swear. So, if you can, give us a listen, give us a share, and listen to us on SoundCloud or on the Apple iTunes app, or the podcast app, that is, or anywhere else you happen to listen to podcasting. And now, sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of Beaveman in the Doc. Adios, mooch fuckos.
Okay, so that's just how it goes. Pokemon Stadium, beating all the foes. I never played it in a chair, I played it on the floor. Every weekend with that Nintendo 64. If I could trade it all, I would go back for more. Play so much Nintendo, man, my thumbs were always sore. We stayed up past midnight, beating every score. Now I'm almost 21, playing evermore.
And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hopefully I did all this right and I set it up correctly because, yeah, once again, here we are with some technical difficulties. But
Imagine
whatever.
doing a whole show and having it be excellent and then find out that it didn't record.
That is my fear every single time we do an episode, is that it didn't record. I can get away. If it sounds bad occasionally, that's all right. You know, it's very frustrating because this is episode, I think, 19. And no matter how many times I try to get this right, it seems like shit always goes wrong, but I keep trying and trying and trying. So eventually someday I'll get it right, apparently.
It's like my mother. I could set something up so perfect for her, and somehow, within the first time she goes to use it, something gets changed, rearranged, or messed up. She winds up having to call me back, and then we go through it all again.
Yeah, and I don't know, in this respect, I don't know if it's because if the software gets updated or whatever. I think it's just one of those things that I just have to keep playing with and learning how to edit it, and there's all kinds of other stuff that we could do that I haven't done that we should do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But, life gets in the way. This is not our job. It'd be nice if this was your job, but it's not our job. Speaking of which, did you ever get to see that billboard I talked about last time?
No, not yet.
Okay, well, I was supposed to work there next week, so I'll drive by it and see exactly what that billboard's all about.
Maybe you can take a picture.
Yeah, I'll have to pull it over.
Post it on the...
post it on the site. This is what I was laughing about. Oh, by the way, this is Beaveman in the Doc. I'm the Beaveman.
I'm still the Doc.
You could see my hat. What do you think of my hat?
It looks very Beavemanish.
Yeah, I like it. It's going to come off in about 2 seconds because it's too hot to wear it. I actually can hear, though, through the hat. So I'm going to go ahead and take it off now, though. So, I had some stuff that I wanted to talk about now for this episode of Beaveman in the Doc. Those were my plans, but then my plans changed. Doc, in my profession, it is not uncommon for someone to come up to me and say, hey, Beaveman, or how they address me in my profession as a nurse practitioner. They'll say, John or Dr. Beaveman. Yeah. They'll say, they'll ask me about their weight. So it's not uncommon for me to be approached and say, hey, Beaveman, how do I lose weight? Or how do I get rid of some of this extra tissue? Or how do I get in shape? What's the secret? What's the key? What do you think I would say to that?
Probably drink lots of water, get lots of sleep, and exercise.
Oh, those are good suggestions. The thing is, of course, obviously for me, is if I knew the answer to that question, I would be a billionaire. Because I can't give you the correct answer, the tell-all, be-all, do-all thing for each individual person for them to lose weight. It's individualized. Each person's a little bit different.
Usually it's don't eat crap.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a good part of that. There's don't eat crap. We are directly related to the garbage that we shovel into our pie holes. The pie hole being the mouth, of course, not the other end. Don't shove food in that other end. Don't shove it in the pee hole either.
Don't shove anything in there.
Don't shove stuff. Don't shove stuff where it doesn't belong.
It's not the Eddie Murphy song about putting a tin can in your butt.
Oh yeah,
Put
that's
a boogie in your butt.
Yeah.
Butt.
Yeah, in the butt. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
don't do that.
People ask me a lot. I don't know why people ask me, but let me give you some advice. Let me give the listeners some advice. If you ask your healthcare provider, your doctor, your NP, your PA, whatever, if you ask them the secret to dieting, exercising, losing weight, take a good look at them first before you ask that question. And for one thing, ask yourself, do you really think that they know the answer to that question based on their own personal lifestyle choices and based on how they look?
Honestly, some people are just blessed with good genetics.
That is also true.
Two people could be eating the same thing, leading the same lifestyle, and one could gain more weight than the other. There's just no way to really predict it.
That is true. You could take twins. You could feed them the same diet. One of them could get big. One of them can be little. They could both be the same, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Growing up in our household with my older brother, he could eat anything. I mean, he ate a lot of food, and he never gained weight. He and I would eat the same. He ate more than I did, and I was just very fat, and he wasn't. So that's just one of those things. And so my parents would just shame me and tell me I was fat. So that's fine. Anyway.
Better fat and happy than, well, not happy.
Yeah, well, I was fat and not happy. So anyway, I guess if people really are going to ask me, I will give them very honest answers. Some of the honest answers are, look at the person that you're asking the question to in the first place. If you think that they have a relatively healthy lifestyle, then maybe it's a good question to ask. But in general, throughout my life and throughout my professional career, I would not say that the majority of the healthcare providers I run into are healthy in the first place.
Maybe that was their motivation for getting into the field.
Well, they just apparently didn't apply anything that they learned.
Myself.
Yeah, apparently they're not applying anything they learned. A good percentage of them smoke, eat like shit, don't exercise, don't get much sleep, drink a lot, gamble, whatever. They all have the regular human vices.
Everything you just said, the sleep is probably the hardest part.
To get sleep?
Yeah.
Yeah, people can get sleep if you're disciplined. If you have a lot of things that you feel like you need to fit into the day. I know that years ago when I was doing probably from the time I started my master's until I finished my doctorate, I probably went to bed at midnight every night. I usually got about 5 hours of sleep, and I was pretty miserable. Now I go to bed at like 10. I mean, I'm always in bed by like 10. So I usually get about 8 hours of sleep or more, and I feel pretty good. But yeah, when I used to only get like 5, I was pretty miserable. I felt like I got more done, but I was pretty miserable, so...
I'm trying to get a new schedule going for myself where I go to sleep at 3 a.m. and I get up at 10 a.m.
Okay.
That's my new thing.
Any particular reason why you stay up till 3 a.m.? It's just because that's when your wife gets home, you guys can hang out for a little while and then...
Well, there's that, but more than likely, she's going to come home and then she's going to want to go to bed. I'll take a little break, to greet her and sit with her, maybe have a snack. But it's... easier to study at night, like after 10 or 11 p.m. when everybody's asleep, the house is quiet, and just no distractions.
Okay, well, that's fair. Right. That makes a lot of sense. I used to study then also. The problem I would get is as I was studying in the wee early morning, I started to get really cold. Well, our temperature drops overnight by about 1 degree, generally speaking.
I didn't notice.
Yeah. So that was one of my issues, but the other issue is, of course, I need to sleep. I also have, some narcolepsy, so that's a little bit of an issue. It makes it harder for me to study, so it was kind of a pain in the ass for me to go through that. But the bottom line was the reason why I was bringing up that subject was I get asked this question a lot, and one of the funny things that I always see on Facebook, and I'm actually thinking about making my own little commercial. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have my shirt off while I'm talking about diet. but you're only going to see from about the above my belly button up, because I kind of look cut from there, from about below my belly button to about the top of my waist. I don't look so cut. It kind of looks like I got a spare tire around there.
Oh, I definitely got maybe 2 spare tires.
But I figure, if I can make the commercial like that, people will understand it better. But you always see those on like the Instagram videos or the Facebook videos where some buff dude is talking about how they know so much, and if you just do this, then you can they'll analyze your diet. Well, the bottom line is this: what the most important thing that I have realized, or that I have here's my secret. Here's my secret to staying in shape and maintaining a healthy diet. You want to hear what it is?
Internet porn.
No.
No. Okay, what is it?
I feel that a healthy dose of self-loathing and deprecation is what keeps me. That's the secret to my maintaining my weight.
Well, you should be Catholic. You'd be all set.
I feel they don't hate themselves enough because they just ask for forgiveness and they feel just fine. No, I feel that if you hate yourself, then it's easier to maintain some sort of a balanced diet and balanced weight. The more you love yourself, the more likely you are to pork up just a little bit.
I was thinking that earlier, but it was more along the lines of being in love. We grow complacent and content.
Okay.
And so, some people, they eat when they're depressed, but more than likely, if you're in love with somebody and you've been in a relationship for a long time, you're going to start to put on weight just because of the fact that you get comfortable and you're going to snack together a lot, and eating becomes more of a pastime. It's because it's all about just spending time with them. Not necessarily, doesn't matter much what you do, but eating is good. It makes you feel good.
Right.
So,
it stimulates that same area of your brain that if you were doing cocaine or
food
if you were
and love,
a little pleasure center.
They're both, yeah.
But see, again, this is where my secret will come into play for everyone is what you have to realize is, even though you're in love and you're enjoying being with this person, you shouldn't grow complacent because there's no good reason for them to have loved you in the first place. See, you still have to hate yourself a little bit and say, why is this person with me? I need to hate myself a little bit more so I can keep them. And they're not going to want to keep you.
Love never dies.
Oh, that's not true. If that was true, then we wouldn't have anybody who's divorced or who leaves each other. Or
just because people divorce doesn't mean they don't love each other.
Oh, well, those little vows that you take, to love, honor, and cherish forever, ever, that's garbage, because that's like saying you can do whatever you want and that person's still going to love you. That's not true. Anyway, if you hate yourself just a little bit more, you'd be more likely to stay in shape. The problem is, as I take a sip of my coffee, the problem is I can't really tell patients to hate. If you would just hate yourself. If you would just hate yourself a little bit more.
Or despise yourself. Maybe not hate.
Yeah, and even if they get that perfect body that they've always wanted, they need to pick something else that they despise about themselves in order to keep themselves in good shape and in good standing. I think that's key. Because you're always getting bombarded with all these different types of diets that patients will ask you about. And the advice that I give to people is, not everything works for everybody. You have to fight. It's very individualized. I kind of go through everything with them and try to figure out stuff with them and try to help them out. But I think that the most beneficial thing that I could tell them, if I was honest, was just, just need to hate yourself a little bit.
I don't know. I don't see it. To me, it's
because you like yourself.
Thing.
No, but you like yourself, so
of course I do.
Well, no, that's good. That's healthy, but it's not going to get you. It's not going to get you in shape. Loving yourself.
If I could drop down to about 180 again and stay there, I'd be happy if I could just stay under 200.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have the discipline, and that's what it takes for me.
Well, see, I think you just love yourself too much.
Again, I need to drink more water.
You need a dose of hate.
I need more sleep.
Well, if you just stop that right there.
I did for a couple of weeks, but since school is starting back up again.
If you just stop that, you would lose a lot of weight.
He's referring to my Mountain Dew.
Yeah. Because I'm drinking a iced coffee with no sugar in it.
Yeah, well, that's gross.
Iced coffee with no sugar in it, even if it's 12 ounces, for example, is about 6 calories. And so you've got a Mountain Dew. How many calories is that Mountain Dew?
510.
510. So what size is that? Is that like a liter?
30, 1 liter.
So 1 liter has got, it only has 500. 510 is a shitload, but you're saying there's only 510 calories in there?
Yep.
So 510 calories, just as an example, not to bore everybody, because let's get back to the main point here. What I'm saying is you just need to hate yourself a little bit. 510 calories of Mountain Dew. Now, I weigh, on the scale this morning, I'm almost back down to my fighting weight. I was about 162 this morning, so I'm usually 160. That's my comfy weight. My caloric requirements in order for me to maintain the 160 pounds is about 1,600 calories a day. So that wipes out basically 1/3 of the calories I would be allowed to have.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't count as a meal. So I could drink that and not be full. So I just fucked myself, and I only have 1,100 calories for the entire day. That would suck.
Piece of chicken and a bowl of rice.
Well, then you see all these people walking around with coffees that aren't black coffees. A lot of those are, you get a McDonald's frappe.
They're almost as bad.
They're like 500 to 600 calories. And the
Almost
small is like
identical to a
430.
Mountain Dew in everything but caffeine and sugar.
Yeah, at least with those, I can feel like I'm full. The Mountain Dew, I don't feel like I ate anything, or I feel like I could supplement that as a meal. But you get my point. So if you gave up, that's actually the first thing I always ask people when they ask me about their weight, because I can't tell them to hate themselves. I'm like, do you drink pop? And if they say yes, then I'm like, stop drinking pop.
I spent the past 2-3 weeks, more than 3 weeks, just over 3 weeks, not having any Mountain Dew.
That's really good. Did you get a headache?
No, not really.
That's good, because most people will get a caffeine headache once they stop.
It wasn't complete. I mean, like, usually when I quit for a long period of time, I take breaks. And my rule is on Saturdays I can have Mountain Dew.
Okay, that's a pretty good. That's a good way of doing it then, because also you'll note if you tell someone, even with pop, if that's the first thing that people tell, if I ask, that's one of the first questions I ask, and they say yes, I was like, okay, so let's do this. Figure out how much pop you drink every week. I ask them to measure it out. Okay, and then I want you to just decrease it by 10% per week. Slowly decrease it, because a lot of times if people stop drinking pop, they get horrible headaches. But if they can decrease it, then they're more likely to quit, as opposed to me saying, just stop drinking it. Most people can't just stop things that they like.
Well, because we've been on the winter break from school, I was able to take a nap when I wanted to. So, I start to get a little bit of a headache, and then I just go take a nap. The headache goes away. So it really wasn't
You were getting headache
then. It was just being sleepy. I wouldn't say it's like the pounding, throbbing headache. I've been in that position before, and it was no fun. I didn't get that this time. What are you looking for?
I'm looking for this coupon book that we're supposed to have, because there was something in it I wanted to talk to you about. Let's see if I can actually find it. So anyway, I guess my point is, when people ask me, I just feel like I should be honest, but I'm not honest. But that's my secret. So if anybody wants to know what my secret is for maintaining this healthy weight, or attempting to maintain this healthy weight, is self-deprecation. I had parents that always told me how fat I was, and so that translated as an adult to always feeling fat. And when I was in school, people always told me how fat I was, and girls wouldn't date me because I was fat.
I don't remember you being fat.
Because I wasn't. By the time you knew me, I wasn't fat. But anyway, so, which brings me back again to healthcare providers are not healthy people in general. The majority of the ones that I've known, it's very rare that I meet one that's in good shape.
Now, if you apply that same scenario to like psychologists, they must be really fucked up.
Oh yeah. Of course they are.
I mean, just straight up crazy.
For sure. I mean, how much do you want to sit around and listen to someone's problems all day long and then not feel depressed and not think about killing yourself? What's interesting is I saw this article. I can't remember if I got it from Medscape or whatever, but it talked about this epidemic of how many physicians we lose to suicide every year. And this was every year. So they gave this number of how many we lost, and it was In my opinion, it is it's relative, right? Because it's a high number because it's more than one. In my opinion, if it's one or more, that's a high number, right? Because it's suicide. I think suicide is very sad. It's very tragic. However, comparatively, yeah, I mean, some people should kill themselves.
I just don't find suicide tragic. I mean, again.
Not because of the person, but because of who they affected by killing themselves. Now, here's my point, though. They made this out to be this huge deal, right? A big deal. Because we lose so many of them every year. And I was looking at that, I'm like, fuck the person who wrote this article when there's 22 plus veterans a day that kill themselves. That's a day. That's in one day. And they're giving this tiny statistic for a year. I'm like, fuck you and your self-important
Really? 20 veterans a day kill themselves?
The number is 22 to 23 a day.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's a shitload. But you don't hear about that, right? Yeah, so they made this out to be the big fucking deal. I'm like, fuck them. Fuck them. Who gives a shit? Fuck them.
I just don't, I don't find suicide, I mean, it sucks. Don't get me wrong. But it's something they chose to do.
Well, yeah, but I'm not promoting suicide. I'm just saying that in general, when we talk about, healthcare professionals, and it was just one of those things that irked me about feeling bad for them. I'm like, fuck them. I don't give a shit. Fuck them. I don't care. Anyway, back to the whole thing about not being healthy. If you're asking a healthcare professional about how to become healthy, do they look healthy in the first fucking place? And let me tell you something else. Here's the deal. Do you really think that they teach them how to teach other people to be healthy? Do you think they teach them nutrition and dieting and about vitamins and supplementation and all that other stuff?
Maybe the dietitians.
Yeah, the dietitians, the nutritionists, but do you think they teach the MDs, NPs, DOs, PAs, all that shit?
It's not something that most people will specialize in.
It is not something they are taught. No, they don't teach that. They don't spend any time on that. It's not important. The only thing that they're looking for is the major vitamin deficiencies that cause illness, not how to diet, how to exercise. There are different fellowships that you can do, like the Obesity Medicine Society has you can become a diplomat of that society. But again, you're already like an internal medicine doctor, and then you're like, hey, I'd really be interested in obesity science or whatever. So somebody will send you off and pay for that, and that's another 20 grand.
If I were going to be a doctor, I should do that. I should just let myself go, put on another 20 or 30 pounds, and then show up at all these clinics and seminars. Hi, I'm a fat guy, and I'm going to tell everybody else how to eat.
I'm going to tell you how to be fat. Here's the reverse of this. I mean, I could tell you how to lose this, but better yet, let me tell this didn't happen overnight.
And by the way, stop asking me or stop telling me what you want me to deliver at Christmas.
You think this happened overnight? I put a lot of time and effort and money into this. You can't just.
you can't produce perfection, this kind of perfection overnight. You just can't do it.
This is a lot of effort. A lot of food went into this. A lot of inactivity. Yeah,
a lot of video games.
But look at the proven benefit. I mean, look at the benefits though of other than being healthier, of having and maintaining a decent body weight. It's kind of like smoking. When people they want to quit smoking, and they can't. It doesn't matter what you say to them about the health benefits of quitting smoking. So what I like to do is I'd like to hit them in the wallet. I like to say, okay, well, how much do your cigarettes cost? Even if they're, gosh, what's the average now? Like $6 or $7 you might pay for a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah.
Let's talk on the low end. Let's say it's $4.
Some people go through a pack a day.
Yeah.
Or more.
So if you go through a pack a day, let's say because I don't smoke, I'm not sure, but I know it's more than $4. But I'm going to say $4. So in 5 days, that's $20. That's a shitload.
Yeah.
So how much money would you save a month to do other things? So that's how you hit the smokers, man. I hit them in the pocketbook. I'm like, hey, well, how much money would you have? Because you can tell them, like,
that's $150 a month.
Yeah, things will taste better. You can say all that shit, but they never think about it until you hit them in the wallet. When you talk about the wallet, then they're like, oh shit, yeah, I could have a lot more money. So that's what I do with that.
Now, with all that money you save, think of all the beer you could buy.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's another vice.
You got to do something else, man. No.
Trading one for the other.
So with people who are overweight, I like to, for the men, I'm like, well, your dick will look bigger. There you go. Because the bigger your belly, the smaller your dick looks.
Who would you want to impress? Seriously, it's big enough for me. That's makes me happy. That's fine.
Well, the bigger your belly is, the farther away you get. So you got to get more creative.
Yeah.
You know, if you get too big, eventually there's going to be a point in your life where you're going to have to put a broomstick underneath your belly to lift it up to get to anything.
Yeah. Well, I can still see it. That tells me there's still hope for me.
What if that's not it? That's not what you're seeing. You're like, I mean, I think that's it, but I'm not. Maybe not.
I know what I'm looking at.
Okay.
Like, I've known
it for a long time.
My whole life.
You're like, I've known that thing for a long time. Believe me, I know what it looks like. No, I was laughing. So you might be asking yourself, what brought me to just bring this up? Well, I think it's pretty obvious.
Did you step on the scale today?
Obviously, I mean, I already hate myself, but no. Here's what brought me to this tragic, not tragic, but here's what brought me to the topic. So, I was thinking about things were going pretty good. I was pretty happy with myself, and I really need to learn to like myself a little bit. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, I really should learn to like myself. Well, so I look at my life, and I'm like,
I mean, that's a good thing.
Right. I mean, I should do that.
I think if you like yourself, you're gonna be. You love your kids, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you think that motivates you to take better care of them?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, what makes you think it's going to be any different with yourself? If you love yourself, you're going to be motivated to take care of yourself.
Well, I was thinking that I was doing a little bit better with liking myself and allowing myself to have a little bit of pride in the things that I do. Because I was looking back at my life. So I was looking back at my life and thinking about all the things that I felt like I was disappointed in myself about. And I was saying, well, you know, I've realized that I've lived my life being too angry, and I'm not going to do that anymore. And so I've been really, really working on that, about not getting angry about stuff and realizing that there's so many things that I can't control. And so I shouldn't let it bother me and just learn to like things more and laugh about stuff and not hate myself. But I got triggered off the other day because I was looking at this coupon book that we got in the mail. And for the fuck's sake, I can't find the goddamn coupon book. Anyway, so here's the problem I had. I was flipping through the coupon book, and I saw an advertisement for an establishment, and it was touting the person who is the main person at this establishment, but it was touting their accomplishments as if they were real accomplishments. And that really bothered me. So when that happened, I got really angry and really pissed. And then I realized that the reason
made 10,000 steps 3 days in a row.
What's that?
I'm just making up some bullshit accomplishment.
Oh,
I mean, people, they talk about, you know, the plan where they try and take 10,000 steps every day, which is it's a reasonable goal.
Sure,
but it's not. I mean, while it's better than nothing, it's not going to make all the difference in the world. No silver bullet's going to fix.
It depends on what kind of silver bullet.
Bullet's going to fix all this fat. Okay, 10,000 steps, a few days in a row. You know, every day, combined with other things, maybe.
Well, I mean, especially if you're really just kind of sitting around, and you don't do anything. 10,000 steps a day is a big deal.
When I was working at the hospital, I measured it out. I was I was moving right around 7 or 8 miles a day. And that's just running from room to room, taking care of patients.
Yeah. That's pretty normal.
Yeah. And I think that's a lot more than 10,000 steps.
Well, here was my question, because I was reading this. I was getting angry, but I was also angry at myself that I was getting angry. See, I actually, when I was reading this, I have firsthand knowledge of this establishment and the person that's touting themselves to be something that they're not. And that's what really bothers me. So I could be looking at it as a good person and saying, you know, I'm happy for those folks. But what I'm not happy about is I'm just not happy about it, and I'm trying to decide if I should get past it and let it go, or if it should really bother me. But because here's my problem. Here's my problem. My problem is there is this, people are selling hope to other people like it's a position. So if you look at my job, what I do, I'm a nurse practitioner, a family nurse practitioner. I take care of patients in a family practice setting, urgent care setting, whatever. I am providing a service, and that service is healthcare. It's pretty cut and dry. I do, some health and wellness with it when I have time and all these things. Well, but it's a standard science. It's got, in its practice, we're always modifying it, always improving it, always trying to tell you, okay, yeah, we were wrong on that. Fuck, we don't do that anymore. And that shit's happened in the 10 plus years that I've been doing it as a primary care provider. We're like, oh shit, we don't do this anymore. Oh, well, science shows that we shouldn't do that. And probably maybe shouldn't have done that in the first place. And then we don't do it anymore. And that's kind of one of those things. But what I can't get behind is selling hope as if it's backed up completely and not showing it as an opinion. For example, the company that I'm a part owner of in Arizona is for aesthetic reasons, right? So, people who want to be beautiful. Okay, well, I have this equipment that we use for this procedure that shows these outcomes, and you're paying for a service that's to make you, you want to get rid of this sunspots, you want to do this, you want to make your cellulite a little bit smaller, and I can show you the actual science behind it, how it works and how it might work for you and how it may not. But it's an elective thing. So I'm not saying to you, this is 100% going to work. What I'm saying is it might. These are the steps. This is the science that supports it. This is a true medical procedure, but it's not an insurance-covered procedure, and it's an elective. It's something that you want to do because you like yourself a little bit, and you don't like this scar over here, and maybe you want it reduced. So I'm not selling you a line of bullshit. I'm selling you something that's it's a true product, just the same as a true product as if you were going to go and buy a freaking new blender at, Bed Bath and Beyond somewhere else.
Oh, I'll keep my scars. They tell a story. They build character.
Yeah,
scars are good.
Okay. Yeah, and chicks dig scars. Whatever.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Maybe not. But the point of the matter is, if I were going to have something done like that, maybe some kind of liposuction or whatever to change the size of my belly. So, when I bend over to tie my shoes, all that fat doesn't push up into my lungs so I can breathe while I'm doing it.
Hard for you to breathe. Right, and that's reasonable, but you understand what I'm saying though. I'm offering you this service, and it's whether you want it or not, because you know what that service is, or you have a good general idea. If you just came to me and said, "Hey, Beaveman, I really want to. Do you think I'm a good candidate to have some ultrasound done to this area to shrink this area? Would I be a good candidate for that?" And I can say, yeah,
really?
maybe.
They use ultrasound?
They do. Yeah, we use ultrasound.
What is it, just break it up?
We use radio frequency and ultrasound. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then it just gets reabsorbed and...
Basically, one utilizes the heat waves to actually shrink the tissue, and the other one utilizes the ultrasound to either rupture, a lot of times it'll rupture the fat cells, and then you can push it out through your, maybe your lymphatic system or whatever. Yeah, it's really cool. You can actually watch it work. But it's one of those things where if somebody was to ask me, hey, would this work for me? I'm like, okay, well, let me see what we're working with. You kind of look at it and say, okay, yes or no.
You'd have to be exercising for that to work, wouldn't you?
No, but you can't be, it's not like you could be somebody who's 300 pounds and say, hey, would this work for me? I would say, no, it's not going to work for you. This is what would work. Yeah, it's not going to reduce that so much that you can actually... notice. That's that type of thing would be more ethical for me to say, okay, so you're like, you've got a little extra, you had a baby, maybe you don't like a little bit of this, excess belly fat, this excess skin. We can work with that, but it's not going to work in one treatment. We got to have multiple treatments, and those multiple treatments actually will help that collagen to be built back up for that supporting structure underneath. Anyway, so again, that's somebody comes to me for a consult. I do that consultation and say yay or nay. Maybe that one won't work for you, but maybe this one will. So I'm giving them an informed consultation, backing it up with what would work for their body type, et cetera, et cetera. What I cannot stand and what I can't tolerate and trying to decide for me is if I'm getting pissed off about it for any good reason is selling bullshit. And you see that all the time. Yes. What's wrong with that?
Go on, keep talking.
Selling bullshit. I'm tired of seeing. Is it wrong for me to get pissed about it when I see it? When I have firsthand knowledge that they're selling bullshit.
Just so you know, I was holding up his Beaveman hat, just to distract him to see how he'd react. I probably should have kept on doing it. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
Well, I'm just asking. Is that unreasonable? Am I being unreasonable?
No, not at all.
Okay, let me ask you this question.
I think honesty is 99 times out of 100 the best option.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times people will say, well, you're never going to be rich by being honest. And I'll be like, okay, well, I wasn't going to be rich anyway. That's the bottom. I'm never going to be rich. But I'd rather be honest and tell somebody, for example, the different services that I might be able to offer in a clinic, whether they're going to work for them or not. Why I'm not going to use this particular procedure that I know is only going to work on someone with a little bit of extra skin on somebody who's 300 pounds.
See, that's the problem. I like when I'm playing Monopoly or anything where I have to barter or negotiate. I have trouble with it because I'm looking at it from the other side, and in order to make a successful negotiation or come out on the winning side, I have to exploit and take advantage of my opponent's flaws.
Well, this is just mine. This is Monopoly, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to take advantage of their flaws in order to come out ahead. But I can't. I keep looking at the situation and say, I know this isn't
This guy's
right.
got a family, man. I can't just
It's got
take the
nothing to do.
railroad.
It's just what makes sense to me. I don't feel right. It's like filing bankruptcy.
That person's credit's going to be ruined for the next 7 years in Monopoly.
10 years. It's just you're acting against your own self-interest.
Uh-huh.
And I like to look for ways that everybody can win, and it's just not possible.
Right. Well, I mean, and that's a game. That's a little bit different. But I guess my question is, am I being petty? And if I'm being petty, then I really don't want to be that way. I am trying to look at things and say, I'm pretty happy for them. They're doing pretty good. At the same time, again, I feel like they're selling hope and they're selling bullshit. But here's my question. Here's another question, because you're in the academic realm now. What do you consider research?
Anything with technically, research is anything where you're learning truth.
Okay.
Or fact.
So I could say that, and I agree with what you're saying. So if I said, hey, I researched this, in other words, just like our podcast, if I said, hey, let's do our podcast on this, and you said, okay, let's research that. It was, well, we researched it and we do our podcast. That is a very base definition of research, right?
Yeah.
Now, if I said to you, hey, Doc, I'm doing this research on this article that I'm writing. Even though we're saying research, you know that I'm going way more into detail on this type of research as opposed to just researching a podcast.
Well, I was going to comment before that there are different levels of research. I mean, you can lightly browse the subject and call it research.
Correct.
I mean, it does apply.
So you're not lying when you say that I've done research.
I have done some research, yes.
Right.
That
And
would be the truth.
This is where I got a little bit angry when I read this advertisement, because it said that this person has done all this research. So if you put that on paper and you're professing yourself to be in the medical arena and you say that you've done research, what
Okay.
does that put in that person's mind?
One little stipulation, though, one little caveat. in order for research to be considered research, it has to be done without bias. If you have an agenda which tells you that, or that makes you want the results to be one way or the other, then you're not researching, you're seeking justification.
Well,
there's,
but
there's
we're
a
still
difference.
But what the difference I'm talking about is saying that you've done research. Okay, if I was saying that let's say I'm saying that in an academic sense or scientific sense, when I'm talking about to a group of like-minded people, if I said that I was doing research on something, that means that I'm actually conducting a study, or I'm researching multiple studies that were already done and compiling that data, comparing it, and producing something.
Right.
If I'm saying that generically to a group of the broader population, some people might take that to mean that, oh, this person's done research. But really, that could mean that I just read a book and I'm putting on this advertisement that I've done research, because technically
Reading a book
I
is a form of
did
research.
do research.
That's why
so it's
schools,
not lying.
colleges, places like that, they have rules or policies which guide them on what is considered accredited research. Because I could do research by staring at a picture on the wall of a car, but that doesn't mean I know that I've done enough research to know how to drive one.
Okay, well, let me put it this way. Let's say that I want to do an advertisement for my business in Arizona. Okay? And we're going to do a bio on me. Let's say the guy who runs everything is like, hey, Beaveman, let's do a bio on you. So write out your stuff. And I'm going to put down that I've done extensive research on bioidentical hormone replacement therapy and transgender care throughout my career.
Did you document all that?
Now, all I've said is that I've done research. Now, as a scientific person like me, or you, or whoever, when I read that, I would say in my head, oh, so if I go online and look up articles by this person, or a thesis by this person, or editorials by this person, or something like that, maybe I'll find something. That's what I would think in my head. But I don't
know. I'm much too skeptical. I don't take people at their word for it. You show me a list of the research you did.
Well, here's my point. My point is, I can say that without ever written anything.
Right.
Because to the lay public, they can think, oh, well, maybe that's what he meant. But I'm never going to go look at that because I'm lay public. But really, I can say that I read a book. That's researching. I still researched a subject. I never said I did a study, did anything like that. So it's not false advertising, but it does profess something that it gives an impression.
These are the kinds of scenarios that come up anytime you start talking about sociology. They talk about research, but none of it is very scientific. There's no control groups. It's just, okay, everybody knows that I think that sociology is just a crock of shit. I mean, straight up. But they can claim whatever they want just by manipulating the angle. I mean, it's like the stuff of politicians.
Right. Well, it's the same thing. Let's say one of the things I always kick myself in the butt about, and I shouldn't, but I do, is I haven't published any articles. There's a few reasons why I haven't published any articles. One, it's not interesting. It's just not interesting to me. There's very few subjects that I'm interested in. But the subjects that I'm interested in, I'm not even sure that there's any magazines anymore that would publish my article. The articles that I'm interested in would be an article relating, just for example, I had talked about once that I really kind of wanted to do an article about how my proposed hypothesis was that practitioners of jiu-jitsu have a lower incidence of carpal tunnel syndrome than the general public. So that was my hypothesis. So I was combining two things that I love: martial arts and medicine. Okay?
Right.
So that's the type of article I would want to write. Okay? Couple reasons why I can't write that article. One, I don't know where I would publish that, because it would have to be
You got to find somebody who wants to know about these
yeah,
things.
somebody who's interested in general medical journals, nursing journals, etc. Probably nobody gives a shit about martial arts and carpal tunnel syndrome.
Huh.
I'd be more likely off if there was a martial art magazine that would be interested in me publishing that, and then it's not a scientific journal anyway, and maybe they'd publish it, maybe they wouldn't.
Well,
It would give me great satisfaction. I think it'd be great.
here's something you might find interesting. I have been published.
Oh, well, that's great.
Yeah.
I'll just
Yeah.
steal your work. Anyway.
I wrote a paper, and the teacher printed it out and distributed it to a couple of the students in the class. Therefore, technically, I have been published.
Okay, there you go, which gets more into what I was going to get into next. So the other reason why I haven't written anything is generally I don't stay anywhere very long. So I can't do a study. I can't, do like retro chart reviews and all these other things to collect the data that I want to actually study. So I don't stay anywhere anywhere long enough where I can submit an idea for an article. It's got to go through an internal, review board and all this other crap. So I never stay anywhere long enough to do any of that. So I can't write an article based on that. I could do an independent one at home on my own without reviewing any charts and just reviewing studies that have been done by other people. I could do that, and that might get published. It might not. The point is, I've never done that, so I kind of kick myself in the ass that I've never done that. But I would never, I wouldn't be able to put that on my dossier or whatever on my bio and say that I've produced anything. However, I did write some articles for a tribal newsletter that got published, so I guess I could technically say that it was published. But again, it's all about that false advertising and wording things that bother me. And I'm wondering if it should bother me or if I just not let it bother me. I think that I feel like I'm being petty, because I guess it's survival of the fittest. If you're dumb enough,
Or as they say, laissez-faire, buyer beware.
right, if you're dumb enough to buy something, and again, this is what I think, that people sell hope. If you're dumb enough to buy hope, full well knowing that it might do not a fucking thing for you,
Yeah, but
I feel bad for you?
It's getting harder and harder to tell the difference of what's real and what's not. I mean, I saw an article today where they were talking about old people. 11% of older people, like over a certain, over 65 and over, 11% reposted what was generally agreed as being fake news. To where the younger people, like under the age of 25, only 3% of them reposted similar articles. So I think the reason why is because the older people remember back when the news was Hoyle. It was a very trusted, you could believe what you read in the news.
But it may not have been real.
Well, that's the thing.
That's what they thought, but we don't know that it actually was.
It demonstrates the concept that it is difficult to tell the difference between what's real and fake news, because everything is so perspectively driven. I don't know how else to describe it. It's subjective. There we go.
Everything is subjective. That's true. That's true. That kind of reminds me of this really funny, what are they called, memes, where they show a picture and then they have a little phrase underneath it. Is that what it is? I'm not very literate. My friend posted something about Jesus. It wasn't this year. I think it was last year around the Christmas time. Oh, Jesus is a savior, blah, 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 blah. And they had this picture of Jesus. Okay. So our interpretation of Jesus. So I was laughing my ass off, right? So I go on there and I commented to my friend. I was like, That's not Jesus. That's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, that. Yeah, I've seen that.
It was a picture of Ewan McGregor wearing the Jedi robes. And I was laughing my ass off. And she's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, this kid, he played a prank on his parents. He took a picture of him, Ewan McGregor, and hung it on the wall, told them that it was Jesus, and they left it there thinking that that was a Jesus picture.
That's hilarious. But it's all about interpretation, right? The other thing I was saying, this is why I was getting pissed off about this bio, talking about how all these wonderful research things and how this person sought after and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I could sit there and say that I've published articles because, like I said, in the tribal newsletter, I've got like 3 or 4 of them. I don't have a hold of any of them. I can't even tell you what the name of it is. But they're just my little blips about, health in general. And when you talk about presenting, yeah, I've presented before too. I've presented for the, like the Michigan Council of Nurse Practitioners. Big deal. That means that I'm a presenter. But it was a local chapter. It's not anything I put on my resume. None of that stuff. It's just like the same thing where you can say that, I'm adjunct faculty, blah, blah, blah. Well, I've been adjunct faculty also, but I don't put it on my resume either.
I'm sorry for going back to this, but my favorite Jesus meme was showing Jesus on a soccer field playing goalie. It's a GIF where somebody kicks the ball at him. He knocks it out of the way and it says Jesus saves. Anyway.
That's a good one. I saw, I don't know which magazine it was today, but we were at the grocery store and I had a picture of, the Anglo Jesus. And I was like, why did they make his cheekbones so high? I don't even know which magazine it was, but I got another one there. I was like, just another good-looking Jesus out there. Anyway, so I guess my biggest question was, I thought I was getting somewhere, but I was actually really angry, and I think that I was being petty. So I don't know if I'm being petty or if I just feel like there's so many dumb people out there that they just want to, and I hate to say this, but they just want to drink the Kool-Aid.
And a fool and their money are soon parted. And
that's kind of how I feel, and then people are just making that money.
Never fails to prove true.
But should I feel bad about myself that I'm not ever going to get rich off of the dumb people?
No.
Maybe I'm the idiot. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe I'm the dumb one.
No, well, maybe. But then again, you have a certain sense of pride that you don't have to screw people over in order to have a good life.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see the point of feeding someone bullshit and telling them it's steak. I just don't see that.
Like in Japan.
I still haven't looked that up because I still say that's bullshit. I'm going to have to look that up, but I don't see the point of that. I just can't, I just don't understand it. I could understand it. I guess, okay, I could understand it if it had nothing to do with somebody's health. Like if who was the guy who was always doing the infomercials, the guy that passed away, who was really good at it? Had like the OxyClean and all that other stuff and shit like that.
I know his face, but I can't remember his name either.
If it was something like that, I guess that's okay, because who gives a shit, right? That's not affecting somebody's livelihood. It's not affecting their health or whatever. If I'm selling you, if I say, hey, this product works really pretty good and make these outrageous claims that it's not a really big deal and you only spent $4 on it and you buy it for $4 and doesn't quite live up to what you said, you're out $4. I didn't kill you. It didn't kill you.
Well, those things, those products that most of the things that he sold, they gave demonstrations and they were pretty accurate. I mean, once you buy them and you realize that it works.
Oh, sure, but
just the way they say. I mean, sure, every chemical is going to have its limit, but OxyClean is pretty damn good.
It's pretty freaking good. But yeah, but you see what I'm saying, right? It's not hurting you. It's not hurting anybody. You know what I mean? It's not like I told you this was the cure for cancer.
Yeah.
There's a different, and this
like
is where I get
back in the day, the charlatans who sold the tonic that was supposed to regrow your hair,
right?
For cure for baldness.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a good example of the age-old scam artist or charlatan, con man. That's what those people are.
But I feel like that's what we're being flooded with now.
Oh yeah, because they can.
Yeah.
Because there are so many fools who have money that they want to just give away. And so, some people, they think they're doing the right thing. They give to a charity. And that charity, 98% of the money that they take in goes towards whatever. But I don't want to name any specific charities just because I may be wrong on the numbers and I don't want it to blow up in my face. But there is one of the charities out there, and they're a big one. They're a big one to where only 2% of the money they take in actually goes towards the cause that they're supporting. Everything else goes towards infrastructure, and the CEO gets this lavish paycheck, and it's disgusting.
Well, shit, look on a smaller scale. If you're going to do a fundraiser for a school, how much money do they get off the fundraiser? How much of that money where they go out and they're like, oh, can you go sell these Christmas wreaths to all of your family? Okay, so I'm going to go sell this Christmas wreath. I'm going to ask my family to buy this fucking Christmas wreath that's $30. How much does the school get? Oh, I like $1.
Yeah, screw that.
Yeah, fuck that. Okay, so why don't you just ask for a $30 donation? I'm more than happy to give that. If the school's going to get $30, why am I going to go pay $30 for a Christmas wreath and the school's going to get $1?
When I was a kid, I used to sell those world's finest chocolate candy bars.
Oh, yeah.
And for several years in a row, I would be one of the top sellers, mainly because my dad would take them to work.
Yeah, they take them to work. My mom did that too. She took them to work.
So did my mom, and I wound up being the top seller on many occasions.
I ate most of them,
but they were so good.
I was the top buyer.
they were good.
The caramel filled one?
Oh no, I didn't like that. Just the plain chocolate ones. Sometimes with the almonds in them. Oh, those are good too.
Well, see, the big seller at our school was the caramel filled one and the crunch. The other ones, nobody wanted to buy the other ones. Chocolate always sold last.
Well, they always had the label or the coupon on the bottom.
Yep.
Buy one get one free at McDonald's or Burger King, one or the other.
Or $1 off.
No, they were always buy one get one free. Of course, back then it didn't matter. You could take a Burger King coupon to McDonald's or vice versa. They'd take each other's coupons. I don't know if they still do, but
probably not. I don't know. Who knows? McDonald's is pretty good about that sort of thing. But your point was what? The school didn't get shit for that?
After all of that I went through, I never thought to ask.
But still probably the best fundraiser in general, because who bought the majority of the candy bars? The people your parents worked with and your fellow students. Because it usually went by grade. In our school, it was what grade was selling them for what? Like it was for like 5th grade camp or whatever. So the rest of the school bought your candy also.
I had an allowance of $5 a week. One of those candy bars was $1. So I didn't eat many of those candy bars unless my parents bought them.
Oh, I was breaking open the piggy bank. It's like, oh, I'm getting some candy bars, man.
$5 a week. So those same candy bars, I bet you, would probably be $2.50 a piece now.
Yeah, I don't know how much they sell them for now, but still a good fundraiser. But again, yeah, that goes back to our point that you're spending this money, but how much is the school actually getting it back?
Yeah.
I mean, at its inception, the Girl Scout cookies, from the time it started to now, how much they make per box really hasn't changed that much.
Well, that's why there are laws that require certain levels of transparency on things like that. So you can, if you wanted to know the answer to that question, you could look and you could see who's getting what, where the money's going, things like that. But somehow they still make it complicated enough to where either you don't understand the information you're looking at or it's difficult to find. It's out there, but difficult to find.
Right.
So it would discourage people who weren't emphatically serious about looking it up. Therefore, unless somebody did something wrong or filed some major complaint or got caught breaking some law or whatever, most people aren't going to know that, hey, most of the money we're giving doesn't go to the cause that we thought it was.
Yeah, I mean, you see that. The amount of money that they get donated in comparison to what they give back out for the supposed recipients is pretty small. in general. But I always I look at the Girl Scout cookies as an example. The amount of money they get per box of Girl Scout cookies sold is not that much more than it used to be when they at the inception. And yet they still do it. And yet everybody still knows it, and everybody still buys the goddamn cookies. So why doesn't some other company, obviously they've got contractual agreements that probably set in stone for, this contract's good for the next 50 years. But you're like, why doesn't some other cookie company come along and say, hey, we'll give you more per box than this company ever did, and they'd still make a shitload of money, and you could still make something just as close to what they make.
Well, they changed the shape of the plastic containers on the inside of the bag, or they changed the shape of the cookie slightly so there's fewer cookies per box. Box is the same price. Fewer cookies means less materials going into it. So it's not like they haven't cut corners, just like almost everybody has.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah,
somebody's getting all the money and it ain't the Girl Scouts. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Yeah, they get a merit badge.
Again, it's difficult. It's difficult to say because that information, while it is out there, hard to find, hard to understand, and the way people debate facts nowadays, you could be looking right at it, and these statistics or facts, record keeping, accounting, call it what you want, people are going to see two different facts.
Yeah,
even with the information right there in front of them.
But I think that's the advantage.
That's why science is looking for fact that isn't disputed, can't be disputed, and they keep redefining language, which changing the meaning of words, and then saying, well, it could mean this, but it could also mean this, and in some circles it always means this, but it's just using those kinds of words to screw with things. How do you establish anything? We don't even have a common language anymore because
it's gray. There's more gray than anything. There's shades of gray.
And that gray is growing.
Yeah.
It used to be fact or not fact, and now it's like sometimes maybe kind of sort of yes or maybe not. But there's no definitive answer because we don't have the language. Our language is degraded. We don't have the language to identify facts anymore.
Well, I will tell you, I have left more jobs because of what I considered unethical practices, because I think more in the black and white realm. And when people want to work in the gray zone, but would burn you if you yourself worked in the gray zone, that's when I'm like, well, fuck that. That's not something I would do. And that's when I leave. And people are like, well, why'd you leave this job? Because I consider what they do unethical. So that's why I left. And so for me, it kind of fucks me in the ass because people look at my resume and they're like, man, you've had a lot of jobs in the past however many years. I'm like, yeah, but I get fired from them. I left them. Well, why'd you leave? Because I don't believe in unethical practice. Well, what'd they do? You might not consider it unethical, but I do. That's everybody's a little bit different. That's why my goal has always been for the past, I don't know how many years, to work for myself. I'm like, fuck that, I'm going to work for myself. Because if anybody's going to be unethical, if I'm going to hold somebody accountable, I'm going to hold myself. If I'm going to be accountable to myself, that's the best thing to do. And then if I decide that, I'm my best judge, that's all there is to it. I'm trying really hard not to be petty about things.
And that's what I was trying to tell you earlier when you were talking about being petty. Only you know if it's petty or if it's a real problem for you.
Yeah, I think that I don't know. I think I'm just trying not to be petty about shit.
I don't know. Sometimes being petty can be almost poetic.
Well, I should just be happy for people.
Some people really deserve it for somebody to get petty with them.
Yeah, when you look at stuff that is a version of the truth, it's not a lie. It's a version of the truth. And you're basing your statements on a version of the truth. You're not lying. You're just basing your statements on the version of the truth. You are going to rope people in. And if anybody ever really called you on it and said, well, this says you're a researcher. Well, yeah, I researched that. Well, yeah, that is research. But does that mean you're a research scientist or you've done real research, what we would consider research in the
You're
scientific
not
community?
accredited.
Not really. So it's not a lie. That's what I have to look at. When I look at that, when I read it, I was like, well, they're not lying, but they're not really
So the
being
moral of the
transparent.
story is that people need to look into the sources. They need to learn to think for themselves and not just take somebody else's word for it. There's a time for trust, and then there's a time to recognize, like an advertiser, they're there to make money. They're going to tell you whatever they think they need to in order to get you to give them your money. So it's up to you to do a little research into them and find out if their claims are true.
Yeah, and then you've become a researcher.
Right. In a sense, you were a connoisseur at that point. And not just a sheep.
So that was my big thing. I'm like, okay, stop worrying about these things because it's just not important. If it was survival of the fittest, I guess, then you would have to hope that all the dumb people will die out, but that's not going to happen. So I guess I should be happy for these establishments that they're making their money from the dumb people.
If I were God, I would end the world today. I'd get it done. Get it over with.
Get it done.
Yeah.
If I was Thanos, I would snap my fingers.
I'd snap my fingers twice. Get the other half, too.
Might as well. God bless it.
Speaking of movies, did you get a chance to watch that one that I asked you about?
Which one?
The Nines.
The Nines?
Yeah.
Was it called The Nines?
Yes.
Oh.
With
no,
Ryan Reynolds.
No, I did not, but I will try to find it.
It's a rather obscure movie. It's even a little slow, but at the end, it all makes sense. It comes together. It's a good conversation.
I think you just need to make this list for me because you watch all these obscure movies that I've never fucking heard of, and then you're like, hey, you should watch this movie. I'm like, okay, well, I don't write it down when you say it, so I don't
remember where I saw it. I think I rented it at like the video store. I can't.
Well, I'm a big fan of Ryan Reynolds, so I'll have to find it.
It is in no way a comedy.
Oh, I don't care.
But it's a guy on house arrest,
comedies.
And it goes from there.
Okay.
How he tries to pass the time, and who he meets, and who he talks to, and what they talk about.
I will attempt to find it then.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say that we had a good conversation today, and I've determined that I still haven't figured out if I'm petty or not. But I do want everybody to remember, though, if you are struggling with your weight, don't give up. If you're struggling with your body image, don't give up.
If you're struggling to spot your wiener, don't give up. You may see it again someday.
If you're struggling to tie your shoe without getting winded, don't give up. That's a very real problem. I actually had a patient that told me they got, this is no lie, bless this guy's heart, and he was really being honest, and I was honest with him back. He said, I think there's something wrong with me. I think I need to have some studies done because when I sit down to eat, I get short of breath. And when I stand up, I feel fine. I'm like, well, let me ask you this question. Do you get short of breath when you tie your shoes? And he said, yes. And I said, okay. Let me tell you, these are the things that it could be going on with you. But honestly, it's that big belly you got when you bend down. It's that big belly you got that when you eat, kind of pushes up on your diaphragm a little bit. And you notice using common sense when you stand up, if you feel less short of breath, what do you think is causing that?
It's got to be the extra weight.
Is that big belly that you got there? He says to me, actually, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah. Every now and then you get one right.
Yeah. I said, well, see, you used common sense, and you're looking at your own life and saying, hey, maybe this is this. I said, now it could be all these other things. I'll be honest with you. I don't know 100%. I said, but common sense tells me lungs sound good. Your belly sounds good, but you got a big belly. That's probably what's going on.
I told you about what happened to me last week, right?
You couldn't find your penis?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't have that problem. No, it's just for some reason my airway closed up. I think it was like my larynx. It just shut. And
there was no wiener in there.
It wouldn't open back up.
Was there a wiener in there?
Yeah. Yeah, no wiener. But it just shut for some reason, and I just brushed my teeth and couldn't breathe. And it went on for several seconds until finally I had to force myself to breathe in, and you could hear it from half the house away.
Now, at that time, when this happened, were you brushing your teeth with your head between your legs?
No.
Okay, well, that was my assessment.
No,
of this question.
it did. It felt like something inside my larynx had just... And my throat was a little bit sore. It hurt to talk for a couple days after that.
Now, how far back do you brush your teeth?
Just
like not down your throat or nothing.
Back the molars.
You weren't brushing your uvula.
No.
No. Okay. You
No.
never know.
And I was already done.
You weren't doing that thing that you just showed me with the lady with the giant sausage.
Oh God, no.
No. You weren't doing any sword swallowing.
That's no.
No. Okay.
No, not my thing.
Not your thing. Yeah, I didn't say a metaphorical sword. I was talking about an actual sword. I'm not saying you're not the.
That's not my thing either.
Okay, just asking. You never know. You never know. Okay.
I don't swallow anything that I don't intend to eat.
Okay.
Like
or
keep.
drink. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
You don't ingest. Okay. All right, I am tracking with you. So the bottom line is, like we said, yeah. And the other thing is, if you are worried about your weight, there's so many programs out there that are full of shit, but some of them work for some people and some of them don't. So never stop trying, I guess is what I'm saying. Find the one that's right for you. Find a healthcare provider that actually knows what the fuck they're talking about, who's going to actually help you out and kind of figure this stuff out for you.
Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig.
Yeah.
I mean, they, again, no, one of them won't work for everybody, but one of them
That's right.
may work for you.
That's how it works. It's just like anything else, like quitting smoking. This might have worked for this person, this might not work for you, et cetera, et cetera. But just don't stop trying. Because the important thing is, one, is you're going to live longer, you're going to feel better. Two, if you end up in a nursing home, you don't want the nurse aides to throw out their backs rolling you to wipe your ass. That's very important. Okay, so let's take care of others too. All right, and if you're getting a pain in your side and you can't figure out what it is, just check the crease for an Oreo. That's all I'm saying, because that happens. Sometimes they'll fall down in there, and that's okay. But check first before you go see the doctor. That's all I'm saying.
And if you find an Oreo, don't eat
it.
it.
Don't eat it. All right, so this has been episode 19 with Beaveman and the Doc. As always, please share, comment, listen, share with others, etc., etc. Send us an email, for goodness sake. Like us, repost us.
And if you think we can do better, tell us and we'll try.
Yeah, because if you don't communicate, what the fuck do we know? Anyway,
Right.
If you have a subject that you want us to talk about, tell us that too. We'll consider talking about it. It's not like we're going to run out of things to talk about. There's plenty of self-deprecating moments I have that I can talk about. And stay tuned this month. I swear to Jeebus, we will be posting the first episode of Beaveman and the Daughter. We are planning on recording it tomorrow. I still don't have music for it, so you're probably going to get a guitar riff beforehand. It could be better. Of course, if anybody wants to write the music for it, I'd be cool with that too.
Don't forget during Beaveman and the Daughter to plug Beaveman and the Doc.
I will also do that. Yes, of course. All right. So from the Beaveman, adios, mooch fuckos.
Crickets, bitches.